Yo boys, it's DJ Power here. Back-to-back videos. Fucking bitch. Ooh, bitch. Ooh. Yeah, back-to-back videos. We just got done doing the Orca video. And for those who watched it, you fucking hated the ending, and I know you did. I'm just gonna... You fucking hated it. Fuck you. So yeah, but now it's time for the rep video. Let's talk about replicants, yeah? I know you guys love talking about replicants. Let's fucking move these fucking things out the way. So, let's talk reps. We got the Tanto, right? The obvious, the original, the OG. We got the alt, which is a lot of people's favorites. They think it's the better one, but they're wrong. We got the clone alt, and we got the clone Tanto. I almost said real Tanto. The clone Tanto. So let's discuss. Let's talk. Let's have a little conversation real quick. Listen, let's do another thing like we did last video. Let's not stall things and drag things out for no reason. So let's just go. So let's start with the Tantos because these are the originals. Let me clarify just beforehand. The Tanto is not modded. This thing is out of box. I have not touched it. The only thing I've done to it is oiled it. That is it. It is completely stock. Now, the point of this video is for two reasons. One is to compare the real to the clone of the better clones, because the one reps are not as good. And two is to compare the difference between a modded Bally Plus rep and a stock Bally Plus rep. Nobody's really talked about them. Everyone just says that they're better, but they don't say why they're better or show a comparison between before and after. So, let's do it. So, to really do a comparison, let's show off the clone first. First of all, you can hear the difference. Now, ready? Here's the beautiful part. Ooh, look at that play. Ooh, that's a pretty amount of play. Ooh. Now, this thing sounds like maracas. So that's beautiful. Or you can make music with it. Now, this thing is sharp as a bitch. I don't know if you can tell by that fucking tip. That tip, that's a fucking murder tip. Look at that tip. I don't know if it's focusing or not, but that's a fucking murder tip. Okay, this thing is dangerous. Okay, this thing comes sharper out of the box than my real rep did. So please be careful because this thing will send you to the hospital, no questions asked. Let's compare sound with the real guy. It's like night and day. So it's not even a fucking comparison. It's not even a fight. The real rep destroys it, obviously. If you're buying a rep clone and you don't want to mod it and you don't want to do anything, you want a knife good out of the box, don't buy a rep clone. That's not the point of them. That's not what they're made for. If you want something out of box, don't get a rep clone. Only get a rep clone if you're willing to put the money and the time into it to make it good. Because, let's go over here, your rep clone could be like this. Everyone wants a rep clone like this, right? Now, the amount of mods that you actually have to do to this is kind of limited. You don't have to do a whole lot. You replace the bushings, the washers, and the pivot hardware. You don't have to touch the Zen pins. I've seen people replacing the Zen pins and the Zen screws. You don't have to. Same for the body screws. You don't have to. There is no point in replacing them as they don't affect the flippability, just the look. If you don't like the look of those polished female screws, stonewash them. You know what I mean? Make it look more like a authentic rep part by stonewashing it. But you don't have to replace those parts. You have to replace pivots, which is the male screw and the female screw, 4 washers, 2 bushings. That is 4 mods. That's it. If you want to go really far, you can tune the bushings. This one isn't because I'm fucking lazy. But even without tuning it, you can hear it. And then, compared to a real rep, that's pretty fucking close, considering that's like 20 bucks worth of hardware. That's fucking easy. And plus, if you're too lazy to tune the bushings, send it to someone. They'll tune your bushings for like 10 bucks and then you pay for the shipping. That's pretty fucking easy to me. That's night and day. The rep clone itself cost about 60, but we'll round it up to about 70 just with shipping and tax. So that's a $70 knife plus $20 in mods. That's a $90 knife, and I would say that beats out a lot of the stuff in the $100 range out of the box with just basic modding, basic hardware replacement, things like that. And this is a nice knife. If you want to really go farther with it, you can oil the scales to make them not as rough, as the Bally Plus scales kind of feel bad. They're very angular and sharp and not comfortable and very scratchy and gross and grainy. If you want to really bring your reps to the next level, you can replace the spacers, put like some G10 channel ones like I have on my alt here. You can put titanium channel ones, full length spacers, fucking change the scales to something, get like some JT design scales, get some spasm finger scales, get something different, you know what I mean? Arc knife, aesthetic design, you know. There's options out there to make your rep even better and make it customizable. It gets to a certain point where all you have to do is replace the liners and the blade and you have a legitimate rep in your hands. If you want something to progress from a clone to a real thing, there is nothing better than a rep, because all you do is replace the parts as you go along and then you end with a real rep. They're good options, but let's talk about comparisons. These two, it's easy. You already know which one I'm going to say. Real rep wins. I don't care that it's $270. $270 is definitely shows compared to the clone, and that's even saying with how fucking dog shit BRS is. BRS is one of the worst fucking companies in the community, hands down. You can ask a ton of people and you can say, oh, but back in like 2015, no, I don't give a fuck about 2015. I'm talking about how they are now. They're dog shit. They're bad. Everything about them is bad. Don't buy a current rep. If you're going to buy a real replicant, go on secondary market, look for something that's older. V3s are still good, but just don't go for anything past like 2019, give or take. So, yeah. Let's talk about the modded clone rep though. This thing is definitely hella close. The only real difference in terms of hand feel is the scales, and that's for a few reasons. One, the scales are just the teensiest bit thicker than the real reps, just like ever so slightly. The scales are just a bit thicker. The liners are about the same. The spacers are about the same, and they're all interchangeable in terms of that. The only difference between the two liners is the grade of titanium, which is grade 4 on the clone, grade 5 on the real thing, and the size of the Zen pins, as the Zen pins on the clones are metric, even though they were supposed to be imperial. Still really good. These Zen pins are fine. You don't have to replace them, like I said before. The only time you would have to replace them is if you really want to build your clone rep into a real rep, and once you swap the liners, you have to swap the Zen pins. They are not interchangeable. Still really, really good though. In terms of weight, they're very similar. I would say the clone rep is the teensiest bit heavier due to the slight thicker G10 and the difference in grade of titanium. But the balance is spot on. It is 100% spot on. When I flip this rep, right, I'm like, damn, someone's got some really shitty scales on this thing, and it is not tuned for shit. But it definitely is a rep. It has the same balance, it has the same feel. The Tantos are known for having that blade bias, but still having all of that material towards the ends of the handles to where you can do some nice rollovers, and all your rollovers are sticky and they still feel really good. But because it's naturally blade biased, the fanning is still hella smooth. So the balance of Tantos is fantastic. The alts are just straight up neutral. Everything they do is perfectly fine. They don't have any outlying tricks that they are extremely good at. That's why a lot of people prefer them. They don't give you any trouble doing any tricks. Everything just feels good. I don't even know what else to say. Like, the blades are interchangeable with real reps. I know people who wanted a alt, they couldn't find one on secondary, paid 20 bucks for a clone one and threw it on their real handles. And boom, called it a day. No problem. Like, reps are nice, especially when you start making them into your own knife. This is a built rep, right? It has different scales, different spacers. It's got the Anno on the liners, which I could change them to Foxfires, but I'm missing one of the Foxfire liners at the moment, but I might throw them on this build. It's nice though. It's nice to have a rep that is not the same as every other rep, as this is just a stock rep. There's nothing different about this knife. One thing to definitely keep in One thing to definitely keep in mind about the scale difference is the fact that the real reps, they do change in hand feel. As towards the top with the chevrons, towards the pivots, it's flat and it goes down to a more rounder bottom. The clone reps are just round through the whole thing. They are a teeny bit more round towards the end, but it doesn't get flat towards the pivots and the chevrons like the real scales do. If you want that real scale feel, again, go on secondary, buy a set of Replicant scales and throw them on your clone. As it will fit, it will work, it'll feel fine. You really can make a clone rep feel like a real rep now for half the price. And it's really fucking good. In cases like these where you don't want to swap out the scales or anything, it's a third of the price. And that's great. That's fucking awesome. TLDR again, if you want a Replicant, buy a rep, clone one, mod the shit out of it, make it your own rep. If you want a rep, but you don't want to spend more money and you want something out of box, don't buy a rep. And that is it. If you are looking for something like that, just get a Tropos Demon Bro, latchless. And then you got your own mini rep to give you an idea of how replicants feel. But that's about it, boys. I will see you later. There is going to be no funny outro this time. Or at least that's what I would say if I wasn't me. So I will see you later, boys.